I want to welcome you guys aboard today. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me here. It's just before 11:30 Eastern Time. We are just about to finish up our live trade room for our trial members. Now, starting next week, we are going to be opening up our trade room at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. We have a brand new moderator that will be helping us out. His name is Brad, and he will soon be demonstrating our new pattern scanner as well for all you folks. So be on the lookout. Next week, next Monday, our trade room will start opening up for the London session with the goal of expanding our trade room so that more of our members can participate at more times of the day. This trade room today will be open until 4:30 Eastern Time. So we will soon have the trade room open from 3 a.m. Eastern Time all the way through 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be here, of course, during the U.S. session, and we have other moderators for the London session. More information will be presented on that later on this week. At the same time, I also want to remind you guys, too, there is risk out there in these markets, and as we discuss our trading strategy this morning, I encourage each and every one of you guys to take some time, speak to somebody you trust regarding your risk, right? Your risk capital. And remember out there that the reason why we're so successful with our trading is not because we have a magic wand. It's not because we're the smartest people in the world. It's because we have discipline and patience to follow a plan. Our trading plan is so important to our success because it's our roadmap. It is our roadmap for success. So here we are this morning. It's a Tuesday that felt like a Monday. We'll do a quick recap for you guys so you can see how we did today. Now, the first market we usually start out with, my personal favorite, is crude oil. Sure enough, crude oil made us some money today, but it definitely didn't make it easy on us. We began this morning by finding out we had a range-bound market. The first clue we got today on crude oil, and I'm watching this Russell. We're currently in a Russell short right now, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't bounce me out of my point of entry right now. We were up about 35 ticks of profit, and everybody heard me on this call say, I'm tempted to take my money right now and put it in the bank. The Russells will let it run to a market, so I'm going to let it run. So we'll leave that Russell up there for us. So this morning, the first clue we got from Crude said we had a range-bound market. Now, if you look at this on crude oil, you gotta forget about what we knew already. And this is where we began the morning. We began the morning now with price on crude on the right-hand side. Price on crude had just poked its head above the previous high of day. And we had that big candlestick wick to it, as well as the candlestick wicks at the bottom of the range, which ultimately confirmed for us that this is a range-bound market. And so we quickly, right away, the first clue we saw in crude oil was a range-bound market. The next clue we got came from a little bit different time frame. This is going to be a range chart. Here's an 89 range chart. And this 89 range chart is what I consider to be my anchor chart. And this morning we came in and we found this. What do you see here? Well, we can see here, and again, I'm going to I don't want to use the benefit of hindsight, but you can see we had a bear channel. And then with that bear channel, we had a bear wedge. So the first clue we got was range-bound market. The second clue we got here was a bear wedge and a bear channel. Now, we talked about this first thing this morning too. What does the price structure tell me? Because remember, that's what I'm looking for here, right? I know that this method is as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, identify the structure. What was the structure on crude? It was range-bound. It was a bearish channel, right? This tells me what? What do you think that tells me will be the highest percentage trade? Sell, right? Selling at the top of that channel. So the first clues, second clues, told us here on the crude, we were looking to sell short. And you know how it always goes, and I'm going to get stopped out of this Russell trade here. Man, disappointing. We had a 30-tick runner on that Russell, and it's come all the way back up to the point of entry. I'm going to leave my stop, my point of entry, 27.7. Let's see if it keeps dropping. It looks like my stop's in the right place here on the Russell, though. I got a swing high right above me, and I'll stay patient in this Russell. So based on the clues that we got here on crude oil this morning, We said we're range bound, and if I had to pick a direction, it would be short. Well, we began now to look. We dig in, we grab our multiple time frames, and we begin taking trades. You're going to see here the first 3 trades I take today are short. Only one of them made us some money. If it wasn't for my trailing stop, though, on that 3rd trade, I would have lost the whole runner on that one, too. A very indecisive, a very whippy market on crude that clearly, by 10 o'clock this morning, had proven to us we cannot continue to force these trades short. We talked about this right away this morning. My plan told me to sell the highs of the range-bound market, and I'm bearish. However, one thing that we're always very much aware of is that at some point we may have to abandon the initial plan after seeing market personality clues telling us the buyers were in charge. Now, what happened was between my 2nd and 3rd trades short, we had a wave long, which I skipped. You'll notice here when you look at your 21 range chart, let me zoom in a little bit closer on this. You'll notice that there were a couple wave patterns long. And you'll see here we went up. I took the trade short once, twice, 3 times. Those failed. We made a new higher high. That was a successful wave that I did not take. The 2nd wave I did take, so I actually ended up missing one of the big winners on that. But we did it for a reason. I skipped the initial first long position because my plan told me, look to sell. But I knew in the back of my mind, though, if we didn't see these sellers start to give way here soon, if they didn't take charge soon, we would then quickly have to reassess the situation and look to get long. By the way, on that long trade, we talked about 91.15 being your ABCD target, didn't we, guys? And look where it is right now. That's right. It's filled the ABCD. So crude oil now has successfully triggered the ABCD reversal zone. You can now take your profit on your crude long and now look to get short. So this morning, everything says bearish. Tried to sell short, short, short. Nothing happened. Nothing working for me. I did make some money on the 3rd trade, as you can see, but if it wasn't for the trailing stop, it would have taken that back as well. So we take the 2nd trade on crude as long, the wave pattern long, and now we're convinced this should really jump quickly now. And it didn't. It still continued to be very sloppy, even though we continued to put money in our account. We then saw a wave pattern fail at the highs on crude, and we sold short again. I'm currently now in a Russell trade, and we'll talk about that Russell in a couple of moments as well. Crude oil was very easy to plan initially, but then the difficult part, the challenging part on crude oil was knowing when to say when. If you can't beat them, well, gosh darn it, go join them. And eventually we realized we are not going to be able to grab this thing short, and we stayed focused on the long side, and we made our goal today. The Russell was also a very easy strategy to formulate today. It was a very easy plan. Now, do me a favor, go back to my blog because I want to show you guys, we post updates on our charts on the blog all day long. Here's the recap on the Russell. Well, not the recap, here's the prep. This was the prep that we talked about initially. And this morning on the Russell, we found ourselves a trading range. Again, this chart was posted before we took our first trade. And do you recall what the level was? The level at the lows of this range, the lows of this trading range, was at 27.9. What is the low considered? It's considered support. So when the Russell went down and tested the lows of this range, I was looking to buy the lows first. But sure enough, rather than seeing the Russell bounce off the lows, giving me a chance to enter long, nothing of the sort happened. It went right through those lows. Big blocks of sellers. Not a single buyer could be found. And that told me right away that that support at the lows of the range had quickly turned into resistance. Here is an example of the Russell chart that we used. Here's a 21 range chart on the Russell. And again, you're going to see it here. Price blew right through that 27.9. And then with that, we use a faster time frame now. There's your 27.9 right there. We use our faster time frame to enter the trade. And this is just a great example today of how we saw the location from a slow time frame, the entry on a faster time frame. Excellent example of how we use multiple time frames correctly. Excellent work on the Russell today. Again, the Russell was a great example of an easy plan to put together, but then rather than being able to buy at those lows, we blew right through that support level and started selling off, so we participated right along with it. Just a fantastic job, everybody, this morning. It's one of those Tuesdays that felt like a Monday. Keep in mind what the rest of your week's going to look like here, folks. We had almost no news this morning. We have the G7 summit begins tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Don't forget, tomorrow we're not going to get that normal news that we usually have on a Wednesday. So no news tomorrow. We're going to make sure tomorrow morning that we're ready to rock and roll here early with a good plan of attack to be patient and disciplined, just as we were today. As you can see here, we're going to lump in natural gas and crude inventories into Thursday. All right, that's a little bit different. So tomorrow going to be another one of those days tomorrow where it's going to be all about discipline and patience to follow the plan. Want to thank you all for coming in and seeing me today. My name is Joseph. I hope you guys and gals had a fantastic day along with me today. We've made our daily goal. Now we're holding on to that Russell trade the rest of the morning here. Hopefully get this Russell to end up all the way down around 816. As you can see, it's really having a hard time getting it going right now. My stop will take me out of my point of entry. Bottom line is we made our money today. I encourage every one of you trial members to come out and join me as an advanced member. Our pattern scanner will soon be released to advanced members. We've got our members summit. We're getting together. Everybody, all of our members are invited here. It is free of charge for members to come attend our members summit in Las Vegas. And we look forward to teaching every single one of you guys exactly how to replicate these.